Would some honourable member care to move that the House take note of miscellaneous business?
Mr. Speaker, I am delighted to stand up today and actually announce that New Zealand will be ratifying the Paris Agreement and doing it earlier than what we said we would. Mr. Speaker, as we know, it is a global climate change and the differences that we make there as far as emissions are concerned that will make the difference and the biggest difference for this planet. The fact that we have the biggest international treaty signed by the most countries on the same day and that New Zealand is part of that, I think puts us in great stead for the future and in great stead for actually being part of what this amazing country stands for, its beauty and its integrity, and equally moving forward the part that we will play. Mr. Speaker, this shows our commitment to the momentum internationally and the fact that we want to actually be part of that. So I must say that before I went to New York to sign the Paris Agreement in April, certainly all the advice I got was take 18 months, take 2 years to look at ratification. There's not a big hurry in that. It's good to be able to set those targets for 2030 and you can wait and see what the international rules are before you ratify. However, with the momentum that is picking up globally, thanks to the Paris Agreement, being part of the 55-55, so it is 55 countries that need to sign that make up at least 55% of emitters, and seeing people like President Obama and President Xi actually standing up and saying that they will be ratifying this year, and certainly every indication that we're getting is that that is still happening, seeing other countries like Australia and Canada, and then getting a very strong message from our international community that we will not get to sit around the table and help make the rules on what those accounting procedures mean unless we have ratified, has led us to this day at this moment and saying that we will ratify early. What, of course, all this means, though, is that we need to bend the curve. So we need to bend the curve of and lower our emission use in New Zealand. Make no doubt about it that that is not an easy thing to do. We have a completely different emissions makeup than any other country in the world. When you're looking at nearly 50% of it being agriculture, when already more than 80% of our electricity use is renewable, you will see other countries making big, bold statements and saying that they are having a higher degree of difference, if you like, in their emissions profile, and they might just be doing that because they've got some pretty easy decisions that they can make. We've got some tough ones. And I suppose my call out to this Parliament today is I think there is some work that we can do cross-party. I think that if you speak to businesses, if you speak to consumers, if you speak to people, what they most want is some certainty from us on some of the foundations. We can argue what that means, and I'm sure different parliaments and different governments at different times would either go harder or faster or slower and more cautiously, but I think that they need a degree of certainty from Parliament as to what those base conditions are, and I think that this Parliament's well set to do that over the next sort of year to 18 months. So, Mr. Speaker, I welcome the member's contribution, and I hope that he's there. Is he a believer in climate change, Mr. Peters? Are you a believer? You've been around long enough to see it changing, and I'm sure, Mr. Peters, that you care enough about this country and what we are leaving for future generations that you will want to play a part of it. Mr. Speaker, I am sure that I am hearing from the member across the House that he would like to be part of a discussion on what it actually means to leave our country in a better state for better generations and ensure that they can actually experience that beauty and the sort of opportunities that we have as New Zealanders. Our identity is wrapped up in our land, and we have a role to actually look after that to the best that we possibly can. So I think this is a good day for New Zealand, a good day for Parliament. I'd like to see some of that bipartisan, and a congratulations and even a question in the House would have been nice, but I understand that Labor are struggling a little and have got other things on their minds at the moment. But while they actually think about what house prices might mean for future generations, ask themselves that if we don't make a difference in our emissions profile, there will actually be parts of New Zealand that banks will not lend to and insurers will not insure because of the effects of climate change. Good day for New Zealand, good day for us internationally.
The question is the motion be agreed to.
Mr Speaker.
Andrew Little.